They say misery love company. And it probably do. But guess what? Joy do too. You hear me? You hear me? I was sitting here reflecting on something, that was said to me earlier. Concerning just keeping it 100, just being real, thorough, and all the other words we use when we interacting with, people who supposedly are close to us, or whatever the association may be. But in the process of that, it was said to me that being too real to have you friendless, right? And I ain't got to tell y'all how short that conversation lasted. You hear me? If you don't listen, you're going to miss it. But it was said to me that being too real to have you friendless. And my response was, well, I guess I'm all I need. You hear me? Cause if I ain't lying to myself, I don't need nobody else lying to me. You hear me? And if I can't be real with you, then I ain't about to lie to you. You hear me? I don't know who may need to hear that. But in the deepest part of me, I feel like we all may need to hear that to some degree or other. If it don't fit, don't force it, but place it wherever you may need it to, and on whoever you need it to. You hear me? Because one thing about realness, and anybody who, real ain't a word I even really use, but for lack of a better term in this moment, real is a term that I'm gonna use. But one thing about realness, it pull out the truth. And anywhere that realness is pulling out the truth, if there's anything in resistance to what realness is doing to pull that truth out, it's gonna get somewhere else. It's gonna find somewhere else to be. You see, because it can't be around realness. Whatever can't be around realness is gonna find somewhere else to be, because realness pull the truth out. And when people being real with you, they can tell you what it is, and you ain't gonna have no problem with it. You're gonna apply it as needed, according to what's being revealed to you through that realness. You hear me? And y'all gonna keep it pushing, keep it building, and keep it thorough. You hear me? But I say that because when I saw it for what it was, and I started applying the same thing that I'm sharing, I didn't know it, but I became a narcissist's worst enemy. See, because one thing about a narcissist, it don't like realness, because realness pull the truth out. So do y'all get it? Do y'all catch it? Realness pull the truth out. So anybody that's a narcissist is in opposition to what realness may be pulling out of them. You hear me? If you don't listen, you're gonna miss it. I say that because I've been there. A lot of us been there. A lot of us come from it. A lot of us was raised by it. And a lot of us decided that we wasn't gonna be like that. We wasn't gonna follow them same blueprints. We wasn't gonna follow them same behaviors. We wasn't gonna follow them same characteristics. We wasn't gonna follow those same attitudes, but we did for a long time. You hear me? You see? If you don't listen, you're gonna miss it. But we been there. Ain't nobody that ain't been there, regardless of how we make it appear. But we ain't here for appearance. we not here for appearance. You hear me? We here to make it count. You hear me? Stillness and abundance, love and light, health and wholeness. Stillness and abundance, love and light, health and wholeness. Stillness and abundance, love and light, health and wholeness. To the CCN, Cosmic Consciousness, Family and Soul Tribe. You hear me? Peace to the new subscribers. I see y'all. We growing. We expanding. You know. I came through, man, just to share some things that was on my mind, because I'd rather gain myself and lose the world than to gain the world and lose myself. You hear me? And in that acknowledgement, you know, it gave me more of appreciation for the things that didn't work out in my life, so I could have even more appreciation for the things that did, and the things that do, and the things that will come, so I could have more opportunities to be appreciative. You hear me? Is anybody grateful today? Somebody say, I'm grateful. You hear me? If it ain't nothing but alive, the best thing popping for you, you should be grateful for that. You hear me? Is anybody grateful? I'm grateful. I'm feeling good for no reason at all, radiating, operating, vibrating, emanating, and exuding the highest exhilaration of my present self. You know, I'm feeling very powered up, charged, and resilient in the moment. I hope everybody else is. Yeah, but on the realness, I'm grateful because it's been worse. You hear me? It's been worse. And through that, I made myself better. You know, I hope somebody catching it. You know, if you ain't found yourself feeling grateful this day, I ain't talking about yesterday because it's gone and tomorrow ain't happened. But if you don't find yourself feeling grateful right now in the time, in the moment, and through the time warp that this message find you when you come into it, you hear me? Take an opportunity to say I'm grateful. Speak it, feel it, know it, you know, radiate it. You hear me? Because it's been worse. It's been worse. You hear me? It's been worse for all of us. And I hope whatever your worst may have been, that it made you better. That's the point. I don't want to talk about the worst. I don't want to glorify the worst. I want to glorify the better. You hear me? That's what it's all about. You know. So I'm grateful for it all. You hear me? I was just thinking, where are you in relationship to everything you think? Where are you in relationship to everything you do? Where are you in relationship to everything you say? You know, where are we in relationship to what we be feeling? And even more so, where are we in relationship to what we claim to know? Because that's going to point us to question if we are in relationship to who we are. You hear me? Yeah. I say that because they say misery love company. And as I said earlier, joy do too. Joy love company too, you hear me? And a lot of times we just got to put ourselves in the midst of what we've been used to putting ourselves in the midst of. And when we do, it's uncomfortable, you know? It's uncomfortable. But to experience joy, and I'm speaking from self-experience, to experience joy, the misery got to be willing to feel something different. You ever talk? You ever talk to somebody about a problem, or somebody came to talk to you about a problem or a situation or encourage or what have you, and all that you was hearing or they was hearing, you know, whoever was the source of encouragement, whoever was the source of support through the form of encouragement, through further motivation, then getting beyond the encourage and seeing further, whoever played that portion, you know, sometimes we find ourselves ain't nothing that we can say. ain't nothing that we could do, because sometimes, and we all don't been there, we rather feel in that dragnet. We rather stay in that dragnet. It's easier to hold on to the things that got us in the dragnet than to reach toward what's trying to pull us out. And that's why misery love company. But But for misery to experience joy, you gotta be willing to feel something different, you know. And the misery gotta be willing to think something different. So it's gonna have to be willing to hear something different. Then the misery gotta be willing to do something different. And then the misery gotta be willing to act on it. You hear me? We learn what, in short, we learn what we don't want to learn through the things that we wanted. Go over your life. If you think I'm lying, go over your life. And I bet you everything that you learned it. Everything that you learned it through something that you wanted. And through that something that you wanted, you were shown why you probably didn't want it. Otherwise, we'll still be affiliated with the same people. We'll still be affiliated with a whole bunch of the same things. But that's not the case. A lot of people change. A lot of things change. You feel me? So forth and so on. All around, wherever needed. You know, change is always occurring. And that's the proof. That's the proof. You know, and when we was in those spaces that we found ourselves in, anytime we found ourselves in a space going through a phase that was going to take us to the next lesson that needed to be learned, according to the lesson that was being learned in that moment, it wasn't nothing nobody could say that could tell us different anyway. Cause we be hard-headed, we be hard-headed critics sometimes. You hear me? And everybody who come across this message, you don't been a hard-headed critic at some point in time. You hear me? And the only thing that got you right is your willingness to want to get right. Or you probably watch me right now and can't get right because you don't want to. You heard? Probably, you hear me? Because them kind gonna show up too. How can they take this and use it for other than it's intended? You hear me? So I put some, everything I speak, I put something on it. That's why I say things like, if you don't listen, you gonna miss it. You hear me? You hear me? But, you know, it's about growth, healing, and transformation. Growth, healing, and transformation. You know, when it comes to growth, healing, and transformation, we can understand why those questions that I asked early on were so important. You know, growth, healing, and transformation. How does that feel? You know, what does that mean? How much do we want it? You hear me? How much do we want growth? How much do we want healing? And how much we want transformation? Because I know how much we want. I know how much we want abundance. Everybody want abundance. Everybody want prosperity. But how much do we want growth, healing, and transformation? So everything needed can come in. How much do we want it? You know, how much time do we spend time to take an opportunity to stop, pause, and reflect on those things? Because it's important, you know. It's important, and it's easy to get caught up and what's not going our way, and not appreciate all the things that are. You hear me? Cause our higher self don't look at things like the human self do. You know. So I think about things like that. How would my higher self be looking at what I'm looking at when I'm looking at what I'm looking at, and any kind of way that other than being above it. Let's put it like that. You hear me? I say that to say it's a process to command change. So consistency. Consistency. See, we still doing work, but I ain't gonna call it shadow work, cause I felt like we don't been into to those spaces long enough the way, you know, we could shift it. We could shift it towards some other things. So we still doing shadow work, but it's more like deep tissue and cellular surgery. You know what I mean? It's all, you know, learning comes from repetition. So things gonna be repetitious, you know, and the repetition gonna increase the learning. And as the learning increase, you know, the distractions decrease because we know how to deal with them. You know, when you take your growth to heart, it don't care who else do. You know, that's what self-love is about, taking your growth to heart. You hear me? It's all about you. Just like for me, it's all about me. But yeah, I would just want to speak to some real things, because everything don't add up don't mean, you know, because everything don't add up the way you want it to don't mean that you're not advancing. Because everything ain't always good don't mean that you gotta be down bad. You hear me? You know, and I appreciate those moments, because when everything wasn't good for me, it showed me the good that I had to be for me. If you don't listen, you're gonna miss it. Because everything ain't gonna always be good, you know, but it'll help you make up your mind about how you're gonna feel about it. It's another way to say what I'm saying. You hear me? You know, and show up, keep showing up, you know, show up for yourself. You hear me? And for no reason at all, feel good when you do it. You hear me? We wanna, I can't say it enough. Man, I can't say it enough. Practice feeling good for no reason at all, man. You know, be thankful for everything that you experience. And even when you experience the comfortable things, you know, remember, if you have to think about, if Tabu come on your mind, remember, feel good for no reason at all. Find yourself being able to feel good through it, and watch how things change, and how you affect it. Watch how things change and how you impact it, and watch the change that you can make from that shift of that perception. You know, it's time for us to command change over our life. You hear me? In order to command that change, we gotta be that command. You heard? But be thankful for the experience. Be thankful for the people. Be thankful for the places. Be thankful for the things, you know, that help you get to you, that help you get there. You hear me? Gratitude, family. Gratitude. Remember, your mind is the workroom, and don't forget to play. I haven't thought of an emoji for this after for this message. Let me see. Your mind is the workroom. Don't forget to play. Don't forget to play. What they have, would the emojis have anything to do with playing? I'm not sure about that. Your mind is the workroom. So put a mind. Since I can't think of one, since I don't know if there's something to do with playing energy in the emoji section, place a mind. We're gonna place a mind. Our mind is the workroom. I just came to be a spark. I came to stir some things up. You hear me? You know, don't forget to smile. A smile can go a long way. And hug yourself if you haven't. You hear me? Yeah, family. Growth, healing, and transformation. We're gonna stay on that. We're gonna stay on that. Growth, healing, and transformation. We're gonna place a mind in the comment section for the end of the month raffle. We need some participation. I see people watching the videos, but I ain't seeing nobody placing the emojis in the comment section. You hear me? And I appreciate those who do. You know. But yeah, it's I don't get it, but maybe I ain't supposed to. You hear me? But for the raffle at the end of the month, like I said, I think we're doing a shirt. You hear me? It's gonna be we're gonna place a mind or anything that playful energy. I don't, like I said, I don't know if they got it, but whatever. We're gonna play some mind, cause our mind is the workroom, and we can't forget to play. You hear me? And that's gonna be it. Thanks for the like, shares, subscribes, comments, questions, if you have them. Peace out, woos, all that good stuff. You hear me? Feel good for no reason at all. Remember, watch the video, place emoji in the comment section, which is a mind or playful anything represent playful energy. As simple as that. And I'll see y'all tomorrow, fam. I love y'all. Peace.